Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series with Dave. Glad to have you here. All right, we're going to be jumping into a little mini series. Ooh, shiny. Yes, 10 parts. I was going to do this in one episode, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's a lot of content for one episode. How about we break them into 10? And let's do this together, okay? We're going to break it into 10. Are you good with that? Okay, well, you don't have much choice, because I'm the one recording the episode. But anyways, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the How to Podcast series. My name is Dave. We're going to be doing a 10-part series under the umbrella of leveraging your entrepreneurial spirit. I know people struggle with the word entrepreneur, entrepreneurial. Isn't it fun? Yeah, you can practice at home. Today's going to be part 1 of 10. Today we're going to focus on your podcast needs a leader, which is you, that inspires and empowers others, which is them. So 10-part series all under the umbrella of leveraging your entrepreneurial spirit. I'm glad you're here. Let's jump into the conversation. Thanks for pressing play. Let's go. So when I was a young guy in my 20s, I had a leader, somebody I looked up to, and they pulled me aside and said, Dave, you have an entrepreneurial spirit. I thanked them and then quickly went and looked up what the heck is an entrepreneurial spirit, because I had no idea what they were telling me. But they saw it in me and I thought, I guess I'll grow into that. I don't know why they saw that in me in the moment when I was in my early 20s, but they did, and they called it out. And I've been tripping over this term ever since. I'm in my 50s now, and I'm still seeing this show up in my daily life, this entrepreneurial spirit. So if you don't know what it is, I'll save you going and looking it up. Basically, an entrepreneurial spirit is a mindset characterized by innovation, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. Now, if that doesn't sound like you, that doesn't mean you don't have some form of a creative entrepreneurial spirit. It might be something that just needs a little exercise, a little bit of attention to bring it out and make it a little more obvious. Having an entrepreneurial spirit means that you're proactive. You're seeking opportunities. You're embracing challenges and striving to create or improve something, maybe yourself, whether it's a business, a podcast, a community, whatever it is that's in front of you. People with an entrepreneurial spirit are driven by vision. They adapt to change, and they see setbacks as chances to learn and grow. All of these things combined. If you and I are sitting down over coffee, and if you've known me for years, you're like, that's Dave. That's kind of how I show up in this world. And because I don't see it in everybody, I get frustrated when people struggle in these areas. Because for me, it's my hard wiring. It's how I show up in the world. And I assume that just because I see the world one way, and that's how I am, that everybody should be like Dave. And that's not realistic at all. So I understand if this is not how you're hardwired, then some of the things we're going to talk about over the next 10 episodes may or may not land with you right away. What I'm asking you for is the opportunity to put this in front of you if you do not see the world the way Dave sees it, that maybe there's some chunks and some elements for you who wouldn't quickly say yes and put your hand up, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. And you're like, I don't really feel like I do. But there's going to be something in here for everybody. Okay? People like me and people like you. I want to make sure that we cover it all here on this 10-part little mini series, leveraging your entrepreneurial spirit. We're going to get into part 1. Your podcast needs a leader. Your podcast needs a leader that inspires and empowers others, your audience, your listeners. For podcasters, being a natural leader is less about holding a title. There's a lot of podcast gurus who hold on to titles. They hold on to achievements, awards, recognition, time in podcasting. And they hide behind that as a kind of a protective barrier, a shield against people who don't take them seriously and they feel like it's their platform. Just because they've been around forever doesn't make them the ideal source and go-to person, and doesn't mean they're serving their audience well. Just because you've been here forever doesn't mean that you have a good, firm grasp on how to serve your audience. A natural leader inspires and empowers their audience and their community. As a podcast host, you're often at the center of a movement, a niche, a dedicated listenership, a community. And your influence comes not from your authority by being in the space for a period of time and all of the awards and accolades, but from your ability to connect with people, your ability to motivate and rally people around a shared story, a shared value, a shared vision, a shared community. That's where natural leadership shows up. It's not in the accolades. It's not in how many books you've written. It's not how many episodes you've released. It's not how long you've been in podcasting. It's not how many downloads you have. Leadership comes from your ability to connect, motivate, and rally people. And I don't hear a lot of podcast gurus talk about this because it's not sexy to talk about this, and it's a lot of work. So if you're up for the non-sexy podcasting advice that you're going to get from all those other shows, then maybe this is the perfect episode for you. Some content ideas for you as a podcaster around the idea of leading your podcast in a way that inspires and empowers others. Here's a few ideas. I love stories in podcasting, and I love when people share a win and sometimes a loss, because those things help us to put ourselves in the situation, go, am I like that? Is my show like that? So I would say for you, when you do your show, no matter what your topic is to share stories of people in your space and how they built a loyal audience around their podcast. It could be a loyal audience that is, you're building an audience on a social platform, or from the stage as a speaker, or people who read your book. You're building a community around authentic leadership and inspiration. And it's the source of all that you do. Find these stories from your community. You're a real estate podcast. Then great, find an example of a real estate agent who, through content or through social media or podcasting, through a book, through speaking, how they build community around their message. And then emulate that in your own show. Take the things that are good and apply them to where you are at in your podcast. Share stories. When we talk about natural leadership, leadership is not always what is seen in public. Leadership is also what's done in private. How you are developing your skill set behind the mic, outside of the glitz and glamour of the stage and the spotlight and the applause and the book signings and the downloads. It's you as a person and how you're developing who you are. If you're not growing, if you're not learning, if you're not studying, if you're not pulling in valuable content from others and placing yourself in the role of the student, then what you know and what you say will become tired over time. I've heard gurus who've been in podcasting for years, like from the beginning, and almost every single interview is a carbon copy of what they did last time. It's like they hit photocopy machine and they print off the same stories, say them the same way. You can almost guess what they're going to say next, because that's all they have, like one spiel. And you can tell from that they're not learning anything new. They're resting on the stories of the past. Like a bunch of retired people, I'm getting close to that age, by the way, so be careful, Dave. A bunch of retired people sitting around playing cards, talking about what it was like when we were young, and all the great things we did. But we haven't done anything new. We haven't learned anything new. We haven't read any new books. We haven't got any new insight. And we live in a bubble. We live in a bubble of our past achievements without any endeavor to learn and grow further. And in that, I think that our leadership gets a little stinted. We don't have the same impact. And our audience matures and grows up and goes elsewhere. Because the stories of the past are irrelevant to what's happening in the moment. And if we're not learning, we're not growing. So what are you doing behind the mic that no one's going to see? A born leader is also a student. So what are your student skills like? And how are you developing your message, your content, and more importantly, yourself? A leader is built behind the scenes, not always in front of a live audience. So keep that in mind. There is a difference between leading a podcast community and simply managing the day-to-day technical side and logistics, content creation around your show. There's a big difference. A podcast community is an assembly of human beings with all of their good and their bad, all of their lovely and some of their ugly. Some of the people who want to build up your community and some of them who want to tear it apart and want to destroy it. There's going to be people who are dominant. There's going to be people who are passive. There's going to be loud people in your community. There's going to be quiet people in your community. There are going to be people who come and give, and there's going to be people who come and get. You're building a town, like a small town around your show. Think of your small town. When I grew up, I lived in a town in northern Ontario, Canada. We had 500 people complete. That's it. 500 people in the town. That's it. There was no more people. And they told us when we moved there, if you haven't heard a rumor by noon, start one. That's your job. And at 6 o'clock, we roll up the sidewalks and put them away. It was like, really? Like, I came from a big, huge city to a town of 500. There's, like, my wife went to high school and she had more people in her high school than I had in my whole town. So, yeah, it was really small, very, very tiny town. And when you build a community around your podcast and what you do, you're building a town. You're the mayor, you're the police department, you are the medical, you are the counselor, you're the teacher, you're the shopkeeper, you're everything in the town for your town. And in every town, there's going to be somebody who's a little bit different, and you're going to have people who are cheerleaders and people who are grumpy, and they're going to be all coming to you. So there is a difference between building your community and simply managing your podcast. And an entrepreneur is somebody who can see the potential in a community over just the day-to-day tasks of podcasting. Would you say, truthfully, would you say that you are a hesitant host? Are you hesitant as a podcast host? Are you cautious? Are you nervous? Compared to, are you an influential podcast host? Where does your voice land? Are you hesitant or influential? You've learned things, you know things. And what I find is many podcasters starting out devaluing what they know and using the imposter syndrome as a cloak to cover up the vast wisdom that they have. Every course, every lived experience, every heartbreak, every win, every loss, every success and every failure make you you. Every friendship, every story. And to hide behind this, well, I'm new, or no one listens to me, or I only have a small audience, or I don't know what I'm doing. All of these things become a barrier between you and your audience, and you need to set that down. Because people want to see you build in real life. They want to see you build in real time. And that's where community really starts, is showing you everyone how messy the middle really is and how hard it is to start. But you're doing it. You're starting. Even though you don't have all the answers, you're starting. And you learn as you go. You learn on the job. On the job training is effective training because you get to see the results of your efforts and what you're learning in real time. It's not a textbook. It's not a video. It's not a course. It's not a guru. It's you on the shop floor, on the retail floor, in that hospital wing, doing the thing in real time. You're going to learn more by doing it in real life than you'll ever learn virtually. So focus on the things that you have learned, the journeys you've had, and highlight those things for your audience. That's going to help you to connect, motivate, and rally people around what you're doing because you're living it in front of them. If you haven't done it already, as an entrepreneur with an entrepreneurial spirit, a big part of this is community. And I really want you to think about whether you have 1 episode or 500 episodes. If you haven't thought about it yet, how can you start some form of a listener community? It might just be one person who will be part of your community. That's great. You've doubled your numbers between you and that listener. You've doubled. Wow. Well, way to go. People would love to double their numbers. Congratulations. Even if you start with 1, how can you start building community around what you're doing on your podcast? How can you facilitate discussions with your audience? How can you get one-on-one feedback? How can you get in front of your audience so that you know them by name? For me, it's SpeakPipe. For me, it's Buy Me a Coffee. For me, it's my website. Some of it is social media. I'm not really there as often as I should, and I just don't really enjoy it. It's a big, noisy place. So I like to bring people to where I am. Maybe it's your Substack. I'm just starting a Substack. I don't have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm starting a Substack. Maybe it's being around other podcasters and learning from them and spending time with them, asking the hard questions like, how do you do this? That's why I set up our meetup group. I'm trying to demonstrate to you through the podcast, not just with words like all the other gurus, but in real time demonstrate how I am building my community in front of you so that you can participate and you can watch from a distance and go, I like that. And steal away. Take my ideas. They're there for you. But it's time to build a community around what you do, even if you're brand new, even if you only have 1 episode. It starts today. It's easier to build a small community than to take a large group of people and organize them. So celebrate the small. I talk about it all the time here on the show. Celebrate the fact that your show is small. It's not something to hide or be embarrassed about. It's something to celebrate. You have 2 people listen to your episode. Celebrate that and go after them and find them and lovingly compel them to have a conversation with you. It's easier to track down 2 people than it is to track down 5,000. So before you get all your eyes focused on the 5,000 number, serve the 2 first. And the 2 will become 4 and so forth. Provide a community for your show. If you don't have a community for your show and you don't know what to do next, then reach out to me and let's talk about what works for you and for your podcast. Every podcast is different. There's not one specific path to building community. So let's talk about how we can work together to get you and your community together. You should start dating your community. You really should. You need to spend time with them. By focusing on the things we've talked about, we as podcasters can help our audience see that in podcasting and in content creation and in everything that we do, leadership in podcasting is about service. It's about authenticity. It's about the courage to encourage others in what we do and how we show up in this world, not just about being in charge. It's not a title. I've met so many people who've been promoted and given a title, and they have 0 leadership skills. They have been with the company for X number of years, therefore, you're now a leader. You filled out an application, had an interview, you are now a leader. And they stand up in front of a group of people that they used to be a peer of. They used to be one of the people, an employee, and now they've been promoted to a boss. And in that moment, you realize this person has no idea how to lead a team. They have knowledge, experience, life skills, story, passion, everything, but they don't know how to lead people. And in that moment, they're like, I don't know what to do. I know guitar players. I'm a musician. I know guitar players who are like just sick on the guitar. They're amazing. But sit them down with a 10-year-old student and have them teach a 10-year-old how to play the guitar, they'll lose their mind. They're like, I can do it, but I can't teach it. There are people who can do a job but can't lead people. There are people who can podcast but can't build community. And I'm saying if it's you and you don't know how to do this, I think as entrepreneurs in podcasting, it's our job to figure out how to connect, motivate, and rally people around a shared story, a shared value, and a shared vision. So my challenge for you is, how are you going to connect with people? How are you going to motivate them? And how are you going to rally them around a shared story? What is the shared story of your podcast? What is the story? What's the connective tissue between the story and your listener? What is the shared value of your show? What do you value? What do you devalue? You can't value everything. You have to pick something. And what is the vision of your podcast? To create the next episode or to build community? To be really good on the microphone and have an expensive mic, or to have a conversation with a listener? Is it to have 100 downloads or to have one engaged listener? What is the vision for your show? There's really no wrong answer here. But the one thing I would challenge you is to become more entrepreneurial and develop a spirit of being an entrepreneur so that you as a podcaster can use innovation, use your resilience and your willingness to take risks in podcasting for the sake of your audience. Will you put yourself into an uncomfortable situation for your audience? Yes or no? Will you get up in front of people without all the knowledge and all the answers and teach? Yes or no? Will you get out and put out your knowledge, even though it's incomplete, to an audience and maybe be judged for it? Yes or no? Will you create content even though there are people who are just harsh and will say nasty things about you? Yes or no? All of these things will help define who you are as a podcaster. And I'm excited for you because the opportunity for you to build something in public is going to have people gravitate to you. And when they gravitate to you, they're going to fall in love with you. They're going to stay with you. So my challenge for you over the next 10 episodes, we've got 9 more to go, is I want you to leverage your entrepreneurial spirit and tap into that, whether it's natural to you or something you need to learn in a new muscle to start working. It's time to hit the gym. And I don't mean your friend gym. I mean the place where you go and exercise. It's time to hit the gym, and it's time to start developing that entrepreneurial spirit. If you have questions about this, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. howtopodcast.ca. Come back, because part 2 is right next to this one. And I'd love to get your feedback and hear about your entrepreneurial journey in content creation and podcasting. I would love to hear from you. Let me know. Take care. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for listening to the entirety of the episode, including this part. You know what? A lot of people leave right now. So we'll let them leave. Give them a second to go. Okay, now it's just you and me. We have our meetups that we do for the How to Podcast series. We do them during the week, and we also do them on Saturdays. So twice a week, you have the opportunity to meet other podcasters, just like you. Some people have just started. Some people haven't even released an episode yet. Some have been doing it forever. And we get together and talk podcasting. We want to help you in community to continue with your show, to start your show, to grow your show. So come and meet listeners of this show in one space on meetup.com. Again, through howtopodcast.ca, you'll see the links. It's completely free to join. come whenever you have an opportunity to come. There's no commitment. You don't have to sign any waivers. You can just come join us. Come join the conversation. We'd love to have you there, because the only thing that's going to make these meetups better is you being there. So I'm hoping you will say yes. And you'll say, Dave, I'm tired of podcasting by myself. I wish there were people I could connect with that are fellow podcasters and share my frustrations with guests who ghost me, and my editing software is crapping out on me, and I'm just having this hard time. I'm just having a hard time coming up with podcasts, episodes, and titles, and all the things, and social media. Wouldn't it be great to get in a room with other podcasters and share best practices and learn? 3 of our 4 Saturdays every month are themed. So you have a topic, but that last Saturday of every month, it's open question and answer. Ask anything. Come meet a podcaster. Come enjoy the podcasting community through howtopodcast.ca. Come to our meetups. Can't wait to see you there.